Welcome to this Partnership Spotlight session where we are shining the light on how Telstra Purple and some of our key partners are helping customers realise the benefit of cloud. My name's Ben Kingston and I'm super excited to have the MD of Equinix here, Guy Danskine.
Hey Ben, good to be here.
Good to have you. Now today we're talking about how cloud is a team sport and it takes more than one organisation to help customers realise the full potential of cloud. Now you guys are a digital infrastructure company. Tell us about how that plays a role in the ecosystem.
Of course, yeah. So at Equinix we describe ourselves as the world's digital infrastructure company. And what we mean by that is that our heritage over 20 years is a network now of about 230 data centres around the world. And in that time we've built interconnection capability. But what we're now seeing is this emergence of customers that want to consume products not just in a physical sense, but also in a virtual sense. And so there's a product that we call Equinix Fabric. It used to be called Cloud Exchange, which was designed to connect customers to cloud providers. But we're now finding that those customers actually want to connect to many more places than just cloud providers. And it's an important product for us, Telstra and Equinix, because you have a product called Telstra Programmable Network, TPN, and underneath that is actually Equinix Fabric, which we're thrilled about.
Beautiful, and so important given everyone going hybrid and multi-cloud these days. Now, we're talking team sports, and you guys at Equinix take teaming super seriously. So seriously, you have a corporate mantra, the power of three. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we do. We talk about the power of three all the time, especially when we're pursuing opportunities with partners like Telstra Purple. So a really great example to bring that to life would be Aware Super that we've worked on together. So they're the second biggest superannuation fund in Australia, very acquisitive in terms of making a lot of acquisitions to build their scale. And when you talk to their teams that worked with us, what they really found is they wanted to standardise around three partners, and that was Equinix, Telstra, and Microsoft. And so they used these building blocks between the three of us to build their architecture going forward. So great win for both of our teams.
Fantastic, and what a powerful trio, Microsoft plus Equinix plus Telstra Purple. Now, just like sport, the rules of cloud are always changing, and as such we've seen edge compute come to the fore, and that's helping customers solve traditional business problems but also opening up new opportunities. You guys have had a successful launch of Metal recently in Sydney, which is great to hear. Tell us about the role that will play in this edge ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. So we acquired a company over a year ago called Packet, and we've now rebranded that to be Equinix Metal. Metal is essentially a bare metal automation platform that's fully integrated with our Fabric product that I mentioned earlier. We're launched in Sydney. We'll be in 18 markets this year. And we really see the benefit of that product being giving customers the certainty of co-location with the flexibility that they may expect from a cloud provider. So we're thrilled to have that product. And we see a huge opportunity with Telstra Purple and how we're going to go to customers together with that.
Such an exciting time for all of us. We've been talking sport, so let's finish off with a tip from you, if I may, a sporting tip and then maybe a technology tip for the year ahead.
So I've spent a few years in the US, so I'd love to say something about the Super Bowl, but I fear that will be lost on some of the audience. So I'll stick with what I know, which is cricket, and I'll say that the Aussies are going to beat England in the Ashes 2-1 later this next summer.
Very good.
In terms of technology, I'll just say to you that we see this emergence of a hybrid being the de facto architecture of choice for companies everywhere, and we see no sign of that slowing down. In fact, only accelerating.
Perfect. Hey, thanks for spending some time with us today, Guy, and talking about how the edge, the network and the cloud are all coming together, and how Equinix and Telstra Purple are helping customers realise cloud.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks again. And now I'd like to welcome Palo Alto Networks to this next Spotlight session. My name's Ben Kingston, and I'm absolutely excited to be joined by the Director of Channel and Alliances, Bryan Stibbard. Welcome.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Now, we're talking today about how cloud is a team sport. No one organisation can help customers across the ecosystem. Now, much of what you folks do would be considered being on the defence of the team, which is a good thing because since COVID, there's some staggering statistics. Retail, 400% increase in cyber incidents. Government and manufacturing, both up 200+% in the last 12 months. Bryan, tell me what's going on.
I guess in terms of the stats overall, if you look at the underlying changes in the environment that we've seen. So when the COVID pandemic went through and the beginning of 2020, we saw a large shift away to remote working. So Unit 42, our global threat intelligence team, actually released a report just recently talking about the percentage of remote workers and how that changed. So initially there was about 20% of remote working before the COVID pandemic. That shifted to greater than 71% over that time. And when you saw that shift, there was also a massive acceleration in the move to cloud. So there was a requirement to move workloads to cloud, and that increased globally around about 20% as well.
Okay, so this wasn't unexpected then, is what you're saying, Bryan?
Well, if you look at those industries that you talked about, we're talking about retail, we're talking about manufacturing, we're talking about government. Those are all interrelated in terms of the COVID responses. So if you look at retail, there was a requirement around obviously providing online shopping. There was obviously around manufacturing and government. They needed provided support and aid. So those particular industries weren't surprising. In terms of the rise in security incidents, again, another part of the report that we've seen is that about 65% of cloud security incidents were actually the result of misconfigurations as opposed to necessarily bad threat actors. So if you add together those cloud incidents, you add together a workload increase, you add together remote working, it really created a perfect storm in that space.
Right, so these customers weren't ready for cloud? It's a bit of an own goal?
Oh, look, certainly that rapid shift does accelerate, but being able to go and look at cloud security can be quite a challenge because it's that automation piece. How do you go and keep automation fast inside of that rapidly developing cloud environment? So.
And tell us a little bit about what Palo Alto Networks and Telstra Purple are doing about that.
Yeah, look, and it's very exciting. I think what's really interesting is you look at where Telstra started this, looking at the changes in the environment well before the COVID pandemic. And they identified some of these shifts in terms of remote working. And where Palo and Telstra have come together is in a joint offering around called Adapt S1. And Adapt S1 is really a combination of SD-WAN and network security coming together. So if you think about that remote worker who's now challenged with being able to access corporate assets securely, Adapt S1 allows them to do that in a safe and secure environment through a cloud-delivered offering.
So important, helping our customers build that unified security architecture, helping secure not only the branches, but also the cloud environment and also the remote working environment. Bryan, we are talking sports today, so a couple of tips from you, if I may. Firstly, your sporting tip, and then maybe a tip from a cyber perspective for the next 12 months. All
right, so unfortunately from a sporting tip perspective, as a tragic Hawthorn fan, I won't give you any tips on that, but I will say from a NRL perspective would be Parramatta Eels. From a cyber perspective, I think it's probably around that remote working will be here to stay. There will be a level of remote working that will go into the future. So considering those security implications is going to be crucial now and into the future.
Fantastic. Thank you for those insights. And thank you for telling us about how Palo Alto Networks and Telstra Purple can help customers secure and realise cloud. Thanks again, Bryan.
Thank you.
And now for this partnership spotlight session, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by VMware. And I have with me a tech guru, Palaseri Sujith, who is the Director of Cloud Solution Architecture here in Australia. Welcome, Palaseri.
Thank you, Ben. It's great to be here.
Now, today we're talking about how cloud is a team sport. And if I think of VMware, you guys are the all-rounder on the team. Cloud migrations, app modernisation, providing the very foundation for so many compute environments around the world. You guys are all over the field. However, let's start with the basics. Can you tell me about how you're helping customers on their cloud journey with your hybrid and multi-cloud solutions?
Yes, absolutely. Look, for us at VMware, it's about recognizing each customer's journey to cloud is different, how they do it, why they do it, and we spend a lot of time giving them the choice, flexibility, and control in making that transition in adopting public cloud. In Australia, specifically, we see now material workload, mission-critical workload, making its way to public clouds. And we provide them a consistent operating model, both across on-prem and across the 3 major public clouds. And this is resonating well with the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're seeing that as well. And let me pick up on a point around consistency. I think when you deal with the likes of VMware or Telstra Purple, that's something that you really get from those engagements. Tell me how important that is.
Very important. Very pronounced in a market such as Australia, where cost of talent, acquiring and retaining talent is very high. Imagine as a CIO having to build an on-prem team, a Google team, a Microsoft team, and an AWS team. Imagine how much effort you need to establish application development capabilities, runtime capabilities on them. So it's impossible. So we see consistent operations and consistent ability to develop application in a manner that lends itself at the pace of your business is very critical. And that's where VMware plays a unique part in being able to provide that consistency across both on-prem and multi-cloud.
Talk to me about VMware's approach to app mod.
We feel application development using microservices architecture or containers is a critical part in becoming a digital enterprise. For us at VMware, it started off with 2 years ago with the acquisition of Apptio. With that, we have the founders of Kubernetes working for us at VMware. We've done a number of things in this area already, including the inclusion of Kubernetes management on vSphere 7. Like everything else, this is not a silver bullet either. Our recommendation is to customers to spend enough time understanding where do they invest in redeveloping in an app, which ones do they select for that purpose, which ones do they retain as it is, and which ones do they move to SaaS. There are a lot of frameworks out there which helps them determine this. Once they do, our job is to help them get there.
Fantastic, and it is a key capability for Telstra Purple, so I love what we can bring together across the app mod conversation. Let's finish with a prediction and a tip or two, if I may. Firstly, a sporting tip and then maybe a technology tip.
I hope we beat the Poms at the Ashes today, and I hope crowd returns to the stadiums. And on the tech side, we feel multi-cloud is becoming a real thing. Customers are increasingly multi-sourcing cloud as opposed to single sourcing. And we feel that's going to accelerate in the coming years.
Thank you for your time today and talking about how VMware and Telstra Purple can help customers truly realise cloud. Thanks again, Palaseri.
Thanks, Ben.